Hello everyone. As always, thank you for joining me here on my page. I know your time is valuable, so thank you for any of that time that you share with me. I don't know where you're seeing me from. My IG, K_Jack, the aspiring chef. Could be my regular Facebook page of Kristen. Could be joining me from my food page on Facebook, Christy Love, that's one word. Or you could be from my YouTube, Christy Love's Health Journey. So wherever you're joining me from, thank ya. First, I'd like to go ahead and apologize for no content being made, because I want to be transparent. After my diagnosis and going through a few things, I have been in a rut. Life always has its ups and downs, generally speaking, but when you get sick, you know, sometimes those downs are really down and sometimes they last a while, and that was the case for me. So the real reason why I hadn't been making content was because I was down. I was just down emotionally, physically. It took me some time to get back up. And that's going to happen. And I'm not going to be hard on myself like I normally would when something happens, because this is just going to be a long road for me. Okie dokie. So thank you for your patience and hanging in there with me. The reason why I wanted to make this video, sometimes I don't know what I want to do or where the next place to go with the content I want to do. So this time I just want to go ahead and talk about my diagnosis. I really kind of wanted to keep it under the vest for a little bit, so that like my personal, like best friends and family and stuff like that would kind of know first before I went into it with sharing it on the page, so they didn't get super blindsided by it. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it to everyone, so please blame it on my head, not on my heart, because it was definitely nothing intentional. But honestly, I have been doing a lot of talking to everybody. It takes a lot of energy, and with what's going on with me, even like messaging is difficult. So just gonna scooch back for a second. So right now I am mostly in a wheelchair, and that's been for about the past 2 months or so. I had an exacerbation. Now I'll talk more about like the process and what happened. But I had an exacerbation that happened to me, and my diagnosis actually is acute inflammatory demyelinating. My diagnosis is acute inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. That's a lot of words. And also it translates, if if anybody wants to look it up, get more information on it. It also is referred to as Guillain Barre, and that's I'm gonna spell it out when I do the post, so you'll know how it's spelled in both of them if you want to go and research. Basically, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get this handout that I have to explain it better. 1 second. Okay, so I'm just gonna read just a little bit. So, it's a rare disorder in which the body's disease-fighting system, your immune system, so it's an autoimmune disorder, attacks my nerves. So my body's basically attacking itself. It causes numbness and tingling, and it can eventually develop into a serious condition, and in some cases cause paralysis. It's not contagious, so it doesn't like spread from person to person, anything like that. The one thing, which is one of the things I've been struggling with, is you don't know the progression or the time healing. So it can take a little bit of time, or it can take a really long time. Some people have a symptom onset, and 4 hours later, they're in the hospital, paralyzed from nose to toe on a ventilator. Some people only get tingling and numbness, but they still have it. Some people end up not being able to walk, which it happened to me. I wasn't able to walk for a few weeks, I think. I was able to like stand up and like transfer, just like use the restroom. But I was literally so weak that I couldn't walk. I'm still struggling with that. I don't walk that much at home, but we're working on that. Some of that's just fear. But I'll get into it. So I really kind of just wanted to talk about what I have and some of the things I experienced. One of the things is the causes of the disease, like some sort of stomach infection, bacteria, an infection in your, like a respiratory infection or viral infection, and less commonly surgery or vaccines. The only thing that nobody really knows. It is rare, but the causes are pretty much unknown. It's one of those where it says the exact cause of GBS is not known. In most cases, it develops a few days or weeks after you have an infection. So, only thing that happened to me around that time before onset was that I had back surgery. So I'm just gonna assume that that's what triggered mine. But we're just making assumptions here. I don't know that I had any of those other infections of any kind, so that's the only answer I can come up with. So some of the signs and symptoms: muscle weakness that spreads from the legs to the abdomen and arms, aching or burning pain, weakness of muscles in the face, trouble chewing or swallowing, slurred speech, inability to move the arms, leg, or both, difficulty breathing. Okay, so that's basically, signs and symptoms. And as I go on and talk more about what I've been going through, I'll tell you what my personal experience is. So they have some medicines. Some people don't take, after my research, some people don't take any medicine at all. Some people do. I personally do because of the pain level I'm at. Some people don't experience the pain, but I have been affected basically from the neck down. So I'll explain my onset in a different video. But I just wanted to get out there and basically go ahead and just get this diagnosis part out there, because I was scared to share, and I'm like, I really it's just kind of tough, waking up one day and you can't walk. So I've had some, mental struggles with that. I was still processing. I think I'll be processing until I completely feel safe being out of this chair. So I've been working on it, but I did want to go ahead and, get the information out about what I have. So everybody would know. Some people have been messaging me and asking, and I promise you I will get to you. I promise you I'm not ignoring you. It just takes me some time to get through the messages sometimes. I have trouble with my hands, fingers, lift stuff, hold stuff, so even sometimes the weight of my phone is just too much. So, and my grip is off. So, I have actually taken a lot of footage of the beginning stages where I was at to show my progress, and also I wanted to, which most people do after they're diagnosed with any kind of debilitating disease, or just bring awareness to it and positivity and showing people how they can progress. And I felt called to do it, so I'm doing it. And I feel like, you know, what if somebody is experiencing the same symptoms and everything that I went through, and they had struggled getting a diagnosis like I did? Maybe they can go and get a test and open up a new, you know, avenue, and maybe start getting treatment and help before it gets to something that, like what I had to deal with. So, there it is. Guillain Barre. People pronounce it differently. Some people shorten it to GBS. But it's explained like a turtle disease. You get better slowly but surely. So, it's going to take some time. So, it's just a lot to wrap your head around too, right? You know, all of a sudden you can't walk, and then poof, it's going to take a long time if you even do. So, but I'm hopeful, and I keep fighting every day and going to physical therapy, occupational therapy. I'll get more into that too. I'll be sharing my videos about, they're kind of, I don't know if I'm going to share them on Facebook. I might just put those on the YouTube, because it involves a lot of me showing like my progress in eating and holding eating utensils. So there's stuff like falling out of my mouth. So there's a lot of stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to post those particular ones. I haven't decided yet, but I will be sharing them somewhere. Those and some of the activities that I was doing in therapy, but I really, like I said, went into a rut, so I didn't even tape some of my therapy that I've been going through, but I will tell you about it, or show you here at home with maybe some stuff I can figure out as well, because some people aren't as blessed, and they can't afford occupational therapy. They can't afford physical therapy. I just will explain that too, but there's no way there's not a higher power here. That's all I'm saying. And what else? Yeah, and then maybe just sharing some different people's stories and telling you who to follow, whatever, answer your questions. Heck, maybe you have it. Maybe you have it. Maybe you struggle with it. I literally found out. It seemed like I never heard of it before, and then I literally found out of a couple people that I personally knew that had it. And even watching a show that I had watched years ago, I watched with 600 Pound Life, and I was like, oh my gosh, the dude on there had the same thing I had. It's just like one day he just was doing great, losing all his weight and all that, and one day he just fell, and then boom, it just went down here out the deck. And that's pretty much how it happened to me. But like I said, that'll be a totally different video. So I think this was the scariest part. I thought I was gonna get super emotional, so I did alright this time. So basically, here I am. I'm a turtle warrior. So if you got any questions, comments, positive vibes to send my way, please do share so that we can help somebody else get a diagnosis. That's what this page is going to be for. Sharing my story so that you'll, people who have it have a space to talk about it. And also just trying to see if I can help anybody anywhere. So thank you for listening to my ramble. Again, I know your time is precious and I appreciate you spending it with me. Feel free to message me. Just know, again, it might take some time for me to get back to you, but I love you anyway, I promise. So, until next time, it's Crystal Love.